Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Istirokha and I'm from PBI 8B from Pancasakti Tegal University. Today I want to discuss about the nature of onomatopoeia and its implementation to teaching learning English for young learner. This discussion is structured to fulfill the assignment of the seminar course on English language teaching from the lecturer Dr. Prajarto MPD. Chapter 1. In this chapter 1, we will talk about the introduction of the study. We will talk about background of the study and then the formulation of the problem. Take a look to the background of the study. In the background of the study, young learners have so many ways to learn English, and it all depends on the needs and the use of English for young learners. Onomatopoeia itself is a word which is familiar with early age or young learners. It's the imitation of natural sounds which normally heard by people. Let's take a look to these words. Meow, moo, bark, bam, beep, clap, knock knock. These words can be found easily in the daily life of young learners. The young learners can understand what the meaning of those words. For example, meow. The young learners understand that meow refers to the cat that sound like meow. For another example, knock knock. Knock knock is the reverse to someone who knocking the door. The young learners will easily understand those words, even those words is in English. And then the formulation of the problem. There are two kinds of formulation. First is what is onomatopoeia. The second is how is the implementation of onomatopoeia in the teaching learning English for young learners of primary school. Chapter 2. Discussion. Definition of onomatopoeia. In literature, the onomatopoeia is one of figurative language used as stylistic device, such as metaphor. They emphasize part of intensify certain expression, such as alliteration. In addition, onomatopoeia is word that feels like more real with the exact pronoun as the real object. Predin said, provides detail about onomatopoeia, its type. Predin suggests that the definition of onomatopoeia as the name of relationship between the sound of a word and something else. He asserts that the relation generates name, imitates, echoes, reflects, resembles, corresponds to, sounds like, express, reinforce, and has a natural or direct relation with. Onomatopoeia is not the same in all language. Every country has its own onomatopoeia, and every country has similarities and differences of onomatopoeia as well as English and Bahasa Indonesia. For example, in English we have knock knock, bark. In Indonesia, knock knock refers to tok tok. It refers to someone who knocking the door. And then bark in English, guk guk in Indonesia. It's the same, refers to the dog who barking. Onomatopoeia has the classification based on breeding. He also introduced the classification of onomatopoeia into direct, associative, and exemplary onomatopoeia. Direct onomatopoeia. This is a word that similarly resembles sound of the object. Burdin states the required criterion for this type is 1. The denotation of the word is class of sound. 2. The sounds of the word resemble a member of the class. For example, the direct onomatopoeia type words are bang, cluck, hiss. Associative onomatopoeia. This type of onomatopoeia involves two levels of conventionality. 1. A conventionality association between something and a sound. The word bubble, for example, does not resemble the object it denotes, but has similarity to a sound of a bubbling liquid. The next level. 2. A conventionally relationship of naming between a word and the thing named by it, such as cuckoo refers to the name of the bird, not the sound itself. The third is exemplary onomatopoeia, which is related with words uttered in physical work. The words are categorized based on the amount and the character of the effort of the speakers in the uttering the words. For instance, sluggish and slothful. All these words are adjectives which define ability to move, but they differ in the amount of effort conveyed by their meaning. Next is young learners. Some researchers have concluded that young learners are more likely to attain native-like pronunciation based on Harley, greater confidence in speaking and language, and better oral proficiency. This study do not refute the possibility that older language learned can achieve native-like pronunciation or proficiency, but they suggest that young learners may have an advantage. In this section, young learners is the golden age for learn language. There are so many researchers found that young learners can adapt, can learn, can make the acquisition of words beside on their mother language. English, indeed, important language as the international language in the world. For young learners, English can be taught if they want to learn English from young. If children begin learning another language before age 11 or 12 and they are given appropriate instruction and input, they are more likely to acquire English to native levels without an accent, said Printer 2006. Now, discussion. In this discussion, onomatopoeia as the word that expresses the actual word in English can help young learners through the imitation sound and moves. The imitation sound will easily catch the young learner's attention to follow the teacher without knowing that they actually doing a study. The word the teacher can say can be easy word with familiar meaning. Onomatopoeia can be put in reading and speaking. For reading, the onomatopoeia can be put in small sentence such as the buzzing bee flew away. The sack fell into the river with a splash. The book fell on the table with a loud thump. The dog barked to the stranger. The lion roared louder than the tiger. For speaking, we can find sound from animal like buzz, hoot, squeak, cackle, howl, tweet, cow, moo, tweet-too, chatter, meow, warble, cheep, ma, whimper. Those words can be easily understood to young learners. Chapter 3 Conclusion. Onomatopoeia is when a word describes a sound and actually mimics the sound of the object or action it refers to when it is spoken. Mimics will help to grab the attention of young learners to learn English without feeling uncomfortable or stressing about English. Easy word and familiar word will give chance to young learners to understand easily. Okay, that's all for discussion today. That's all from me. See you in the next video.